we are working, and it's looking like a shed, y'all. It's looking like a real live building. We started off in 2002 with a little shed that has served us well, but it's just too little anymore, and it's in need of some repair and some sprucing up. So we made the plans. I have looked on Pinterest and decided on that color scheme, but taken lots of little elements from lots of different images so that I have come up with a good idea of what I would love to see happening, and I've just photoshopped and hacked together different ideas of what I think that it should look like, or I hoped it would look like. Even from the side view, you can see the original building and the new building. And the reason we're doing all this is because Olivia, Ryan, and baby Isaac, who is almost here, will be moving in with us temporarily for some time. So we are making room in my house for them, hence the she shed. So I'm calling it Victorian couch. It's French provincial. What's wrong with my brain? I don't know. You'll see it eventually. The shelves, I had designed them to be 14 feet wide, but excuse me, Marla, that means that the end of the shelf would run right up into the front window. So I'm going to have to pare them back a little bit, but they're still huge. So, okay, the loft is based on this photo that I found on Pinterest, but my shed is a lot taller than this, and will be able to stand up in my loft. But I love the vibe of that image. I love the chandelier hanging. I love all of that. I think it's wonderful. And I included this image because I love the way the vintage things are on display, and that is a very practical way that I probably won't be doing that. But maybe over in the old part of the shed, they are going to be connected. And on those big shelves where I'm going to store lots of my things from my house, I am going to do some drop cloth curtains that would be similar to the way that looks right there. Some of my things, just the tubs, wouldn't be super attractive to look at. And you know, this shed, I have said, it's got to be functional before it can be fabulous. But I kind of want it to be fabulous from the start, you know. The sink. It will have a sink, and it is this vintage double wash basin. There is metal roof, silver metal roof with brown and similar colors than what I'm going to use. And in this photo, you can see that Ben is putting up the first beam for the loft floor. I'm telling you what, we have worked, and all our people have worked, and I'm sure there's people who are pretending they don't know us so they won't have to work.
Are you in the hammock? Pretty nice, huh?
It has been a family thing. It really has. And we have worked late into the night because we're still having to maintain our normal 40-hour-a-week jobs. And then on top of that, we're building the she shed. We had a storm coming, so they put all kinds of extra supports. I want you to just look at that dot in the middle. That's Albertville. And for hours and hours and hours, that storm tracked straight over the top of us. We didn't have any damage. I'm so sorry to hear that people did lose their lives in Mississippi, and probably some in Alabama too. I never did hear the actual news reports on this, but that radar's looping, so you could see again how long it just sat on top of Albertville, my surrounding area as well. But wow, we got through that, and the next morning went out there with blowers and blew the water off of everything. We did have things covered up with tarps, and I can't remember if that's the very next day or the day after that. Who knows? Everything blurs together. And there's my pregnant girl. Bless it. She's getting to the eternity part of maternity, isn't she? The scaffold belongs to Ben's dad, who bought it in the early 70s so that he could easily paint their 2-story colonial house. And that set of scaffolding has been absolutely essential to this build. Look at my dudes up there. Oh, Ben's brother has helped us. That's Stan. And he used to run a construction crew, so he is our saw man. Ben hollers out measurements. He says, I need all the code names, all the specific words that I don't even know. He'll holler it out to Stan, and Stan will cut the board, and the boys will bring it up to Ben, and they'll just put it all together. That's really looking tall. Now, Joel doesn't have a fear of heights. His nickname, sometimes he's called Treetop because he just isn't afraid of heights whatsoever. But there are others among us who get weak in the knees over it. One of my main jobs has been to bring things to drink, and that looks like the day that I brought mac and cheese with Tabasco sauce on it, and Little Debbie cakes and sliced apples. Now, I did do a third mock-up because we changed gears. We decided that it would be faster and less expensive to do French doors. Now, this is what French doors cost at Lowe's, but I found a set. It had been listed for 52 minutes when I contacted the seller and said, please, I'm coming right now. Please don't sell them to anyone else. And that will save us tons of time and money. So I've got lots of details that I can add later, including some of the carriage door hardware looking stuff. Ben, bless his heart. He has worked and bought lumber and worked and bought lumber and sheets of plywood. And we did go ahead and buy the metal for the roof. And we've got all this stuff covered up and kind of disguised. I mean, I really don't think anybody would be bold enough to come up into our backyard and steal it, but still, you know, you're praying for the protection of not having it stolen. And look at my job. My job was to hold little baby boy. This is Mallory's little boy, who's 6.5 months old, and yeah, that's the best job in the whole crew. That's Olivia's dog, Coco. He is tied to a leash so that he does not run away forevermore. But look at that fat head. Aaron is such a sweetheart. And the toes. I could look at baby toes for hours. Just adorable. We had let our fire kind of die down because it was warmer on this day. But as the evening went on, it was getting cold, and we decided we would build it up again. But I can tell you, 2 little girls who have loved being part of this big event.
That's going over here. What more are those? 75.
Look at you.
I can climb.
You can climb?
Yeah.
That is very strong.
Let me show Mickey.
Okay, just so you hang on tight, please.
I can do this. I can do this.
You can do this?
Yeah. I can do anything I want to.
You can do anything you want to that you have permission for.
Who's this for?
Like
You have a father? Nope. Any one of these?
Yeah, let me.
Maybe
There's 2 of them.
Sam! Where's the impact?
He went in the house.
What? Where'd you put it?
Smiley monkey.
Be careful.
What?
Say,
Up there?
body monkey, body down. Smiley town, smelly monkey town.
here since we put the loft up.
No.
Yeah, the loft is up.
This area under the loft, there are two little support walls that are only 2 feet wide on the far left and right, but I have already been trying to imagine where we're going to put all the furniture pieces, all the things that are coming from my house to the she shed. And I've kind of got a good idea of where I'm going to put things, but sometimes you don't really know for sure until you see it in person. But I have been getting a general idea in my head so that on the day we move these things, I can direct it to where I want it. And the front end that's not under the loft, I'm still not super sure exactly what I'm doing with all that space, but I'm going to let some of it just kind of hang loose and let my sensibilities direct what I'm going to do when it actually happens. But there's the flooring kind of halfway. The plywood that's going to be the floor of the loft is about halfway on. But it does give a good idea of what the space will feel like. That's it won't be a full 8-foot ceiling there. It will, from floor to the bottom of the loft, is like a 7-foot clearance there. And then there's a lot taller. The wall, won't have to be divided up. Where there's not a loft, the wall will go up its full 10 feet to those rafters. And then on top of that will be the rise of the roof, and that will be visible from the main room. And Ben had said it would make a lot of sense if we just put a ceiling in there. And I said, please don't. Please just let it be open. I love the idea of it being open. And I know that using a ceiling fan to keep the heat down in the winter, and is that how you do a ceiling fan? Turn it so that the heat pushes back down in the winter and drafts upward in the summer. But we will have some heating and cooling out there. We're not super sure how we're going to do that. Maybe a split unit, something like that. But we will just have plain floors until such a time as we can do something about the floors. We just got to get it in the dry. Now, I have a full-size, queen-size bed that we're going to put in the loft. We're going to set it up. It's going to have sheets and pillows, and I plan to escape up there and take naps whenever needed or wanted. As for lighting, my husband's brother Daryl and his wife Barbara just built a house, and they ended up with 4 of these LED lights that weren't used in their home, but they just still had them, so they brought them to us. We'll be using those in different spots, not sure where. This is the chandelier that's currently in my rose room. There's a bulb burned out. We'll have to help that, but I'm going to put that somewhere in my she shed, not sure where. I'd like to put it up in the loft. That's what I'd like to do. And a company called Parrot Uncle has reached out to me and asked if I would like to do a collaboration, that they would like to send me a ceiling fan, and we need a ceiling fan for the she shed. So they allowed me to pick one out from their site, and this is what I've picked out, and they are sending it to me. It is a 52-inch down rod, so we could extend the down rod if we wanted to. It will have remote control for the lighting and for the speeds and the direction, all that. This is a Pinterest image of a she shed that's built with rafters, and the inside of that roof is visible, and that's maybe kinda sorta what mine would look like. And here I have photoshopped the actual fan that they were going to send me. I hope it's on the way, and that's what it would look like in the main part. And in this inspirational image, the chandelier in that image is just in front of the loft, and I might do that, or I might put it actually in the loft. Depends on how tall it is and how many times all the tall men would bang their head on it and complain. Okay, now that I'm using French doors on the front instead of the sliding barn doors, I'm thinking of ways to give it more character and be pretty. And these things may not happen until later, but I love that little tiny roof that goes over the doors. I love the details, the carriage hardware, carriage house, carriage doors. I can't think of the words for it. But anyway, to put onto the French doors, and I will be adding some grids to look more, just more character, more detail. But all of that can happen with time. And of course, I'll be filming it, and you'll be there with me, seeing it happen. There's half of the rafters up, and that's kind of where we are right now. And let's end up with this beautiful image of my granddaughter, Claire. For those who work hard, they also need to rest hard. And that's what I'm trying to do. I love all of you. Thank you so much for your prayers.